Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An operation that segregates items into groups according to a specified criterion. The bottleneck in mail delivery is the process of sorting. Arrange or order by classes or categories. Examine in order to test suitability. A category of things distinguished by some common characteristic or quality. An approximate definition or example. She wore a sort of magenta dress. A person of a particular character or nature. What sort of person is he? An operation that segregates items into groups according to a specified criterion. The bottleneck in mail delivery is the process of sorting. The basic cognitive process of arranging into classes or categories. Grouping by class or kind or size. Keep company with, hang out with. Arrange or order by classes or categories. A body of students who graduate together. The class of 97. People having the same social, economic, or educational status. The working class. Arrange or order by classes or categories. How would you classify these pottery shards? Are they prehistoric? Education imparted in a series of lessons or meetings. Flirting is not unknown in college classes. A body of students who are taught together. Early morning classes are always sleepy. A collection of things sharing a common attribute. There are two classes of detergents. A league ranked by quality. He played baseball in Class D for 2 years. Biology, a taxonomic group containing one or more orders. Elegance in dress or behavior. She has a lot of class. Arrange or order by classes or categories. How would you classify these pottery shards? Are they prehistoric? Assigned to a class or kind. Declare unavailable, as for security reasons. Treat differently on the basis of sex or race. Act as a barrier between. Stand between. Have the connection undone, having become separate. Arrange or order by classes or categories. Become separated into pieces or fragments. Separate into parts or portions. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. The couple separated after 25 years of marriage. Force, take, or pull apart. He separated the fighting children. Divide into 2 or more branches so as to form a fork. Make a division or separation. Go one's own way. Move apart. The friends separated after the party. Standing apart. Not attached to or supported by anything. A house with a separate garage. Mark as different. Come apart. The 2 pieces that we had glued separated. A separately printed article that originally appeared in a larger publication. A garment that can be purchased separately and worn in combinations with other garments. Divide into components or constituents. Independent, not united or joint. A problem consisting of 2 separate issues. Separated according to race, sex, class, or religion. Separate but equal. Make free from confusion or ambiguity. Make clear. Arrange or order by classes or categories. Punish in order to gain control or enforce obedience. Protect, hide, or conceal from danger or harm. Test or examine for the presence of disease or infection. Screen the blood for the HIV virus. A strainer for separating lumps from powdered material or grating particles. A covering that serves to conceal or shelter something. A screen of trees afforded privacy. The personnel of the film industry. A star of stage and screen. Separate with a riddle, as grain from chaff. Examine in order to test suitability. Screen these samples. A white or silvered surface where pictures can be projected for viewing. Prevent from entering. The display that is electronically created on the surface of the large end of a cathode ray tube. A protective covering that keeps things out or hinders sight. A protective covering consisting of netting, can be mounted in a frame. They put screens in the windows for protection against insects. Examine methodically. Screen the suitcases. Partition consisting of a decorative frame or panel that serves to divide a space. Project onto a screen for viewing. Screen a film. Examine in order to test suitability. A strainer for separating lumps from powdered material or grating particles. Distinguish and separate out. Examine in order to test suitability. Separate by passing through a sieve or other straining device to separate out coarser elements. Check and sort carefully. The visual appearance of something or someone. A perceptual structure. The composition presents problems for students of musical form. The phonological or orthographic sound or appearance of a word that can be used to describe or identify something. The inflected forms of a word can be represented by a stem in a list of inflections to be attached. Make something, usually for a specific function. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. Establish or impress firmly in the mind. A body of students who are taught together. Create, as an entity. Social groups form everywhere. Biology. A group of organisms within a species that differ in trivial ways from similar groups. A category of things distinguished by some common characteristic or quality. Sculpture is a form of art. A life-size dummy used to display clothes. Develop into a distinctive entity. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spatial arrangement of something is distinct from its substance. To compose or represent. This wall forms the background of the stage setting. Give shape or form to. Form the young child's character. Physical chemistry. A distinct state of matter in a system. Matter that is identical in chemical composition and physical state and separated from other material by the phase boundary. A mold for setting concrete. They built elaborate forms for pouring the foundation. An ability to perform well. He was at the top of his form. An arrangement of the elements in a composition or discourse. The essay was in the form of a dialogue. A particular mode in which something is manifested. His resentment took the form of extreme hostility. A printed document with spaces in which to write. He filled out his tax form. Assume a form or shape. The water formed little beads. Agreeable, conducive to comfort. A dry climate kind to asthmatics. Tolerant and forgiving under provocation. Our neighbor was very kind about the window our son broke. A category of things distinguished by some common characteristic or quality. What kinds of desserts are there? Having or showing a tender and considerate and helpful nature, used especially of persons and their behavior. Kind to sick patients. A collection containing a variety of sorts of things. He had a variety of disorders. A show consisting of a series of short unrelated performances. A category of things distinguished by some common characteristic or quality. Noticeable heterogeneity. The range and variety of his work is amazing. A difference that is usually pleasant. He goes to France for variety. Biology. A taxonomic category consisting of members of a species that differ from others of the same species in minor but heritable characteristics. Activity by a military or naval force, as a maneuver or campaign. It was a joint operation of the Navy and Air Force. A process or series of acts especially of a practical or mechanical nature involved in a particular form of work. The operations in building a house. Mathematics, calculation by mathematical methods. They were learning the basic operations of arithmetic. A medical procedure involving an incision with instruments, performed to repair damage or arrest disease in a living body. They will schedule the operation as soon as an operating room is available. Process or manner of functioning or operating. The power of its engine determines its operation. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. The cognitive operation of remembering. A business, especially one run on a large scale. A large-scale farming operation. A planned activity involving many people performing various actions. They organized a rescue operation. Computer science, data processing in which the result is completely specified by a rule, especially the processing that results from a single instruction. It can perform millions of operations per second. The activity of operating something, a machine or business, etc. Her smooth operation of the vehicle gave us a surprisingly comfortable ride. The state of being in effect or being operative. That rule is no longer in operation. Place into or assign to a category. Place into or assign to a category. Children learn early on to categorize. Detect with the senses. Pick out, select, or choose from a number of alternatives. Pick out, select, or choose from a number of alternatives. She selected a pair of shoes from among the dozen the salesgirl had shown her. Selected or chosen for special qualifications. Of superior grade. Select peaches. Pick out, select, or choose from a number of alternatives. Select as an alternative over another. I always choose the fish over the meat courses in this restaurant. See fit or proper to act in a certain way. Decide to act in a certain way. The income or profit arising from such transactions as the sale of land or other property. Be capable of holding or containing. This box won't take all the items. Remove something concrete, as by lifting, pushing, or taking off, or remove something abstract. Take the gun from your pocket. Serve oneself to, or consume regularly. I don't take sugar in my coffee. Make a film or photograph of something. Take a scene. Be designed to hold or take. This surface will not take the die. Require, time or space. Take somebody somewhere. Can you take me to the main entrance? Have sex with. Archaic use. He had taken this woman when she was most vulnerable. Have with oneself. Have on one's person. She always takes an umbrella. Receive or obtain regularly. We take the Times every day. Admit into a group or community. Head into a specified direction. Pick out, select, or choose from a number of alternatives. Take into consideration for exemplifying purposes. Assume, as of positions or roles. Interpret something in a certain way. Convey a particular meaning or impression. How should I take this message? Lay claim to, as of an idea. Accept or undergo, often unwillingly. Make use of or accept for some purpose. Take a risk. Take something or somebody with oneself somewhere. Engage for service under a term of contract. Shall we take a guide in Rome? Be stricken by an illness, fall victim to an illness. Take on a certain form, attribute, or aspect. Take as an undesirable consequence of some event or state of affairs. Get into one's hands, take physically. Can you take this bag, please? Require as useful, just, or proper. It takes nerve to do what she did. Occupy or take on. Receive willingly something given or offered. Be a student of a certain subject. Proceed along in a vehicle. Point or cause to go, blows, weapons, or objects such as photographic equipment, towards. Ascertain or determine by measuring, computing or take a reading from a dial. Take a pulse. Be seized or affected in a specified way. Take sick. Buy, select. I'll take a pound of that sausage. Carry out. Take action. Experience or feel or submit to. Obtain by winning. Winner takes all. Take by force. Take into one's possession. I'll take 3 salmon steaks. The act of photographing a scene or part of a scene without interruption. Travel or go by means of a certain kind of transportation, or a certain route. He takes the bus to work. A collection of things sharing a common attribute. A general concept that marks divisions or coordinations in a conceptual scheme. A Gestalt principle of organization holding that, Other things being equal parts of a stimulus field that are similar to each other tend to be perceived as belonging together as a unit. The quality of being similar. The immaterial part of a person. The actuating cause of an individual life. Deep feeling or emotion. A human being. A secular form of gospel that was a major black musical genre in the 1960s and 1970s. Soul was politically significant during the civil rights movement. The human embodiment of something. The soul of honor. A human being. There was too much for one person to do. A grammatical category used in the classification of pronouns, possessive determiners, and verb forms according to whether they indicate the speaker, the addressee, or a third party. Stop talking about yourself in the third person. A human body, usually including the clothing. A weapon was hidden on his person. A human being. A human being. Causing or capable of causing death. Mortal combat. A human being. Involving loss of divine grace or spiritual death. Subject to death. Mortal beings. Unrelenting and deadly. Mortal enemy. Characteristic of or meant for a single person or thing. An individual serving. Being or characteristic of a single thing or person. Individual drops of rain. A human being. Separate and distinct from others of the same kind. Mark the individual pages. Concerning one person exclusively. We all have individual cars. A single organism. Divide, bulk material, and process as units. Separate or classify into units. The hospital was unitized for efficiency. Make into a unit. Unitize a car body. Make an itemized list or catalog of, classify. He is cataloging his photographic negatives. Make a catalog, compile a catalog. She spends her weekends cataloging. A book or pamphlet containing an enumeration of things. He found it in the Sears catalog. A complete list of things, usually arranged systematically. It does not pretend to be a catalog of his achievements. Make an itemized list or catalog of, classify. Make a catalog, compile a catalog. A book or pamphlet containing an enumeration of things. A complete list of things, usually arranged systematically.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.